Alright, so check this out. I'm playing Plague on Midwich, chilling, hooking everyone, but the gens are about to be done, so now comes the time where I actually want to win. I sacrifice one of them, and as the gates get open, I manage to barely catch a second one. And to my horror, I realize that in the current Midwich, hook spawns are atrocious, and I only have one hook that I can realistically get to. On my way there, I see a Kate. And here, I didn't think much of it. I think she's just maybe trying to take a hit to help, but I should have noticed that she had a medkit. This Kate has a styptic, which lets her take 2 hits. I hit her here, then she body blocks at the door after using the styptic, which effectively gives her a second health state. I'm already realizing what's going on. I just hit her and they both escape, and that's it for them. Needless to say, this situation annoyed me a little bit, so I went back and thought, what could I have done differently? My first idea is to not hit the Kate right away and then get to the doorway. She will probably take a hit there, and after I hit her, if she goes into the room, at that point I drop Feng. She will most likely wiggle out and escape, but Kate should be locked in the room with me, which should give me a kill. But there's actually a big flaw with this plan, because if Feng fully wiggles out of my grasp, then my body doesn't have collision and Kate can go right through it. The collision would only stay if I drop the Feng early enough so that she doesn't actually escape my grasp, and at this point it seemed too late. So a second idea would be to drop Feng a little bit earlier and try to body block the Kate somehow and then catch her. But as it turns out, even that is not a good enough strategy, because if we go back into footage and we pause it right about now, you can actually see that the Kate was already body blocking me in this tight area. I had to hit her, and after that there's simply no way to get this hook if they play it right. Very frustrating to realize, but that brings us back even further to when I first downed Feng. Now, I had 2 healthy survivors here, and I don't want 2 healthy survivors in the endgame, or else they could engineer a rescue, so I had the right idea to injure David, but I actually missed an attack. Then I injured him, he left, I picked her up, and I was already too late. It might just be that I lost 1 kill in this match just because I missed 1 attack. It goes to show that sometimes it's better to be a little bit slow and get things done right than to try to rush things and then find yourself in a situation that you just cannot win. And here we have another interesting endgame where survivors up until this point had played really well, but thanks to the endgame collapse and a few of them being injured, they were pushed against the corner. Since I had a lot of stats to save the best for last, I knew this was the time to hit the healthy survivor and then focus on the injured one. The injured one, this Feng, waited a long time to try to hit me with a dead heart, but we waited it out correctly, good for us. I figured that I had enough time to hook her and then focus entirely on the final survivor, the Atom, but then I was overcome by hesitation, because I realized that the Feng could very well have the perk Deliverance, which would allow her to unhook herself, or alternatively just try to unhook herself since it was her first hook and just get a lucky escape. I had to stay here to defend her in case she unhooked herself and also keep an eye on the Atom. And that's how I felt. Eventually I did commit to Atom. He also waited to use his dead heart for a very long time. I really commend him. Almost hits me with it, but eventually he went down and I got both kills. So it would seem like I played this right. At the end of the day, I did get the best result possible, but the truth is, I actually didn't. This Feng Min on this hook, if she somehow manages to unhook herself by any means, in the current patch, she will have a base kit 10 seconds of endurance. That is more than enough for her to run to the exit gate, and there is nothing I can do if that happens. So yeah, if you hook a survivor next to an open gate and they can unhook themselves, just forget about them. Unless you can hit them twice with your power, it's not gonna work. You might as well just focus on the other things that you can do something about. Alright, next endgame situation, this time with the Dredge, and this was a really difficult game where I was reasonably happy. I had just managed to secure my second kill, and with the exit gate still not being open, I was pretty confident, perhaps overconfident, that I could get a third kill and get myself a win. However, instead of going for the person opening the gates, which might have been the play, I went for this Kate, who I was pretty sure I would catch very soon. If I zoned her properly, it seemed very unlikely that she would run back to the gates and beat me to them, and my only fear was maybe the last survivor opening the gates, leaving, and the Kate getting hatched, but even that seemed very unlikely, so I chased after her. And then I played this shack kinda normally, the way you would play normal shack, and even if you do have bamboozle in an endgame situation like this was a mistake. I didn't zone her properly, and that allowed her to make a run back to the exit gate across the map. At this point, I should have realized that something was amiss, that hope could be in play, and I had one last chance to teleport ahead of her to this set of lockers, and that would have probably saved this. I could have probably caught up and killed her. But unfortunately, I did not spot that opportunity. I just chased her thinking that I would catch up, but I never caught up because a survivor with hope essentially takes twice as long to catch up to, and if they go in a straight line, even if it's not extremely straight, they are very, very hard to catch, and you can see just how heartbreaking that is. So don't forget about this perk in endgame. It could really change the way things play out. Alright, and one final endgame scenario for today, and this is one where it's actually the survivors that made a big blunder. For context, this Nia was seemingly a very blatant cheater, and at this point when I realized I didn't care about anyone else, I just wanted her dead. She hadn't been hooked yet and I downed her next to an open gate. I carried her to the hook and her healthy teammates for some reason decided to take a bunch of hits, and eventually they were pushed out of the gates and I secured the kill, which I was very happy about. But the truth is, they could have played this much better. The first and obvious mistake they made was taking hits at the hook. At this point, they simply should have waited it out, wait for me to hook, and at that point they can all go for the rescue, and if they coordinate effectively and take a couple hits for each other, being that close to the gate, that would be an easy 4-man out. But even after they made that blunder and 2 of them were injured, they still had one last trick they could have pulled on me to secure a 4-man escape. The healthy person should have gone further into the map. The 2 injured people should have been waiting and healing each other by the exit gates, and at that point there would be nothing that I could do. If I chased the injured people at the exit gates and pushed them out, the healthy one would get the rescue, and if I chase the healthy one into the map, they'll take the hit, beat me to the gate, and the other 2 would either finish healing or just do a quick rescue and I would lose regardless. And I guess that the main takeaway from this one is that in a situation like this, if time is on your side, don't panic. And if you've already panicked, don't keep panicking because there might be a way to undo the damage. Thank you for watching.